A CrossFit competition and MS Walk come to La Crosse. We give college students some tips to stress relief, and a new app is making waves. Stay tuned. WMCM's Almost Live in LAX is next. Almost Live in LAX, a new show for the students, by the students, where we bring the truth to UWL every Tuesday. With news from around the world, and right here in the Cross. With information you can use and news to be proud of. Stay tuned because Almost Live in LAX is coming up next. A lot has been going around in La Crosse and the world, some good and some bad. We've got a lot to talk about today, so let's get into it, shall we? Let's do it.
Camille's first story. 40 athletes competed at the first annual Underdog Days event at CrossFit UDX Saturday afternoon. Athletes participated in 3 different divisions, which all incorporated the fundamentals of CrossFit, such as burpees, deadlifts, and metabolic conditioning. The 3 levels of competition at Saturday's event included 2 individual competitions, the RX division and the scale division. There was also a party division, which was a 4-person team event. For many athletes, competitions like Underdog Days is a great way to stay in shape, but they also know that by competing in events like this, that they are able to raise money for Riverfront. CrossFit UDX hopes that by holding events such as Underdog Days, that people will become more familiar with CrossFit fitness. Have you guys ever heard of CrossFit before?
I've heard a little bit about it. I think summer's coming up. I could probably use a little bit of it, to be honest.
Well, I actually got to interview their trainer this weekend, and very informational, like a ton of information about CrossFit. I found out that it's very much of a high intensity type workout. So
I mean, the only thing I've ever really seen about CrossFit is the full body pull-ups. What other types of things do CrossFit athletes do? Burpees. And then, can you define a burpee for me? I
think we should get you up and to do a burpee.
I burpee after I eat lunch. Is that what a burpee is? I do workout all the time.
No, Pete, no.
No?
But good pun.
I do my best.
So basically they incorporate cardio and lifting, but they do a lot of intervals just to intensify the workout.
It's just to get your heart rate pumping and lift heavier things so that you have you're not just focusing on just weights or just cardio.
Right.
It's like CrossFit's literally like CrossFit. Okay. Like I've seen people lifting like giant tractor tires, like flipping them like end over end at like a really, really high pace to get their heart rate going. And obviously it's a good workout. They're obviously really heavy. They're huge.
I think we should get into it. I think we should get into shape, get some CrossFit
Almost
going.
Live in LAX.
CrossFit edition.
UDX. Let's do it.
That might be next time, folks. That might be next time. Hey, let's check out another story, okay?
All right. I also checked out the MS Walk this past weekend. Hundreds of walkers gathered Saturday morning to walk together in an effort to end multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is a disease that is unpredictable and disabling. It occurs within the nervous system. MS interrupts the flow of information between the brain and the body. The walk started at the La Crosse Center, where participants were able to choose to walk a 1 or 2 mile or 3-mile route. The goal of the La Crosse area Walk MS event was to raise $106,000 for multiple sclerosis research. For many battling MS like Michael Sigmund, events such as Walk MS provides a feeling of support. Quote, "It means a great deal of support that people are having such a good time. They come up with clever names for their teams, they raise money, they raise interest, and they bring attention to members of their own families who have more significant problems than I," end quote. Sigmund said, "Nearly 3,000 people throughout Wisconsin are walking this past weekend to raise awareness about the disease. Walk MS will take place in 20 Wisconsin cities throughout 2016, with high hopes of raising $1.5 million. It was a great event to attend to, you guys. I really found a lot of emotion behind the people that actually have MS, and then the families also that walked for them. It was a great event to attend.
Yeah, it was probably pretty inspirational.
Definitely.
So did you walk along with it, or were you at a certain post throughout the race?
Unfortunately, I was reporting, so I had a camera with me, so I was unable to walk. But I did follow them around a little bit, and everybody was super happy to be there. Everybody was very caring of the people that do have MS, and they're just looking for research to end multiple sclerosis.
It's one of those uplifting stories that you hear about those sort of things. I work over at Mocha, and that's pretty far away from where they started, and we even had to put in porta potties just so the amount of people, standbyers, supporters.
I think there was 800 people that walked, so that's excellent for lacrosse.
I work at Greengrass Cafe as well, and we got a lot of overflow after the walk.
Oh, sure.
So it was really cool.
I bet. Do you know if they reached their goal? Has that information
I
come
do
out?
believe that they did. I talked to the director of the event after the walk happened, and I think she said that they were very close to reaching their goal.
Really?
So
That's
I'm hoping that they did.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope that they reach that national goal of 3.5 million, because that would be a great thing.
Yeah,
it would be, definitely.
Because multiple sclerosis is something that affects a lot of families, and to think about that, a cure for that, that would just save so many lives, just like Michael Sigmund over there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's check out our third story now. Why don't we?
Pro-Donald Trump messages written on the sidewalks around UWL have prompted a response from the university that not everyone is happy with. UWL's Facebook page wrote, quote, "While we respect people's rights and opinions, we also recognize some communities on campus experience these messages as discriminatory or hostile." The post was angered by many students, including Trump supporters, who accused the university of taking a position that is anti-freedom of speech. The post since then has been removed, and UWL Chancellor Joe Gao commented that UWL should be used as a place to facilitate the debate of different candidates' positions, but should not take a side. How do you guys feel about this?
It's a touchy subject.
Really
I think the politics with this election is very, very touchy, like you just
Extremely.
said. And I think as students, we need to be aware of everything going on with politics, but respect sides as well.
Definitely.
I definitely think it's possible to like have an opinion, and a strong one at that, if you want to, without like interfering with somebody else's opinions or their rights, or how they may feel about
Talk
things.
about it
Yeah,
instead
like
of
it's always an option to have an actual discussion rather than offend somebody, and say things that are going to hurt people.
Communication is key.
And I think the collegiate environment that we're in, there's a lot of strong opinions about things that they start to have a high emotions that start to kind of get back and forth. But I do actually really enjoy the message that Joe Gao sent, saying that as a campus, we don't take a stand. We see that these are just words, and everyone has the freedom of speech. And it was nice to know that the leader of our campus kind of doesn't want anyone's voice to get shut out, because he knows that even if people do support Donald Trump's values, they still have a valid opinion. They should be able to express that opinion. So I like that. I like that he corrected the Facebook post. What do you guys feel about the Facebook post? Did you guys read it?
I did not actually see the Facebook post. I wish I would have. I might, if it's still up, I might have to go back and take a peek at it.
They took it down, I'm pretty sure.
Did they? I do think that maybe not going through Facebook was the wrong way to go about it. Maybe send out a campus email instead, rather than strictly on social media.
I agree, definitely.
And I actually myself didn't see the chalk writings. Did any of you happen to see the things that were said?
I saw like a couple things, but nothing that was specific. Like, I mean, obviously you're walking to class, and I don't have time to like stop and read all the sidewalk writings. But I saw writings for Trump. I didn't have time to read what they said.
And I remember seeing one about some sort of about the wall, which I know that again can affect.
That's also an extremely touchy subject.
Extremely touchy subject for any type of immigrant, which basically I am, everyone kind of is in some way, shape, or form. So it's again, touchy subject with that sort of thing. Well, hey guys, thanks for stopping by. That was some national news. We're gonna go check out some Perfect Pets after this. Thanks for stopping by.
Hi, my name is Spencer, and I'd love a new running buddy who would let me snuggle with them and give them lots of kisses.
I'm Lucille. I'm a beautiful 2-year-old kitty. I can make anything into a toy, and I love to give attention if you pet me.
Hi, I'm Odin. I'm a 3-year-old lab who loves to play and am looking for an active home.
My name is Tabitha. I am curious, friendly, and I love playing with my toys.
To find out more about adoption for these pets or others, contact the Cooley Region Humane Society at 781-4014.
College students around the world are preparing for one of the most dreaded weeks of the year, finals week. After a semester of research, papers, exams, and quizzes, students are faced with this final challenge before they are free for the summer. Finals week is a dirty word in the minds of college students, bringing to mind mental images of overnighters, Red Bulls, and the occasional Adderall. With finals right around the corner, college students' stress levels are at an all-time high. Most college students think that stress is just another part of life and that is no big deal. Well, folks, here at Almost Live in LAX, we are here to tell you that stress can be a big deal and that there are plenty of ways that you can fight stress levels to keep yourself calm, cool, collective, and ready for finals week. Now, stress can be a danger to one's health, even in young college students. As students, we are too preoccupied with school and work that our stress levels are sometimes things that we tend to forget about. This is something that we need to work towards a change. And to show the dangers that stress can have on your body, we're going to show you a segment of a TED Talk by Madhumita Murgia called How Stress Affects Your Brain. Let's check that out, should we?
Are you sleeping restlessly, feeling irritable or moody, forgetting little things, and feeling overwhelmed and isolated? Don't worry, we've all been there. You're probably just stressed out. Stress isn't always a bad thing. It can be handy for a burst of extra energy and focus, like when you're playing a competitive sport or have to speak in public. But when it's continuous, the kind most of us face day in and day out, it actually begins to change your brain. Chronic stress, like being overworked or having arguments at home, can affect brain size, its structure, and how it functions, right down to the level of your genes. Stress begins with something called the hypothalamus-pituitary-adrenal axis, a series of interactions between endocrine glands in the brain and on the kidney, which controls your body's reaction to stress. When your brain detects a stressful situation, your HPA axis is instantly activated and releases a hormone called cortisol, which primes your body for instant action. But high levels of cortisol over long periods of time wreak havoc on your brain. For example, chronic stress increases the activity level and number of neural connections in the amygdala, your brain's fear center. And as levels of cortisol rise, electric signals in your hippocampus, the part of the brain associated with learning, memories, and stress control, deteriorate. The hippocampus also inhibits the activity of the HPA axis, so when it weakens, so does your ability to control your stress. That's not all though. Cortisol can literally cause your brain to shrink in size. Too much of it results in the loss of synaptic connections between neurons and the shrinking of your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that regulates behaviors like concentration, decision-making, judgment, and social interaction. It also leads to fewer new brain cells being made in the hippocampus. This means chronic stress might make it harder for you to learn and remember things, and also set the stage for more serious mental problems like depression and eventually Alzheimer's disease.
Now, stress can make you forgetful, overwhelmed, and can even change your brain chemistry. You just heard some of the specifics of how stress affects you and what the consequences can be. But I bet you're going to yourself asking, Pete, I am stressed. I know it's bad, but what do I do to try and fix it? Now, don't worry guys, we have you covered. Because we have just the 5 best ways for college students to reduce their stress. So we're coming out with number 1. Don't stress out about being stressed out. Life is hard, college is busy. You know it, I know it. If you feel like life is barely being held together by a couple strings, don't beat yourself up. It's normal. If you're stressed, just admit it and start thinking about how you can overcome it, how you can get past your current obstacle. Number 2, sleep. Now, I can't stress this one enough. Your body needs sleep. I always hear about people pulling all-nighters, getting 2-3 hours of sleep. Your brain can't run on that. Getting more sleep can help your mind refocus, recharge, and rebalance. Sometimes one solid night of sleep can be all you need to go and knock out, get a successful night of schoolwork. Number 3, we're coming at you with one of my favorite things to do, and that's eat. As far as college students go, our habits for eating are pretty far from structured. Now, I want you to take a second, think about what you've eaten in the past few days. Now, you may be thinking that you're stressed out from school, but in reality, you just haven't eaten anything with sustenance since those topper sticks on Saturday night. Now, you really got to start to work on your diet. Those times that you're stressed out, maybe think about, hey, have I been eating right? Go grab a carrot. An apple a day keeps the doctor away, as my mom always used to tell me. Now, number 4 is going to be exercise. Another one of those dirty words for some college students. But it can do wonders in those successful times. Now, it doesn't need to be a 2-hour insanity session, getting your butt kicked, working out with some weights. Even just a quick 20-minute walk can get your blood pumping and relieve some of that stress. Hey, combine this one with number 3, go walk to a restaurant with a friend, fuel up, and go and knock out the rest of that stressful work that you have. Now, number 5 is my personal favorite tip for relieving stress, and that is have some fun. Now, this one only works if you have a little bit of time and are not on an extreme deadline. If you have some space in your schedule and are feeling stressed out from all of the copious amounts of things that you have to do, try and work some fun into your life for a little bit. Even if you've only thought about the 3 papers and the 2 exams that you have due next week, stress can easily start to overwhelm you. You should take a little bit of the time, get a meal with your friends, maybe watch a 30-minute TV show, heck, go spin in circles in your computer chair until you get dizzy. Whatever you like to do, just go do it. Taking that time off to get your mind off of work and enjoying life for a little bit can really give you that motivation to just power through the rest of your studies and maybe even put a smile on your face while you're getting it done. Those are the tips that I use to get me through my work and especially finals. So if you are feeling stressed out in the next couple days, especially with finals weeks coming up, give these tips and all of these solutions a try and tell us how they went. So guys, you just heard some tricks. What tricks do you guys use to get rid of stress?
Definitely, for me, the key is eating healthy. I'm an avid for healthy, avid. Okay, mind blank. I am always eating healthy. If you know me, you know that I eat like a bunny rabbit.
Exactly.
And also working out. I cannot stress getting in that 30-minute workout every day just to get your blood moving, like you said, and get it pumping and really getting the blood flow to the brain.
Yeah, because when you're sitting there after those hours of studying, just getting out, stretching the legs, really, it helps me a lot.
Yep.
And I am not the biggest advocate of working out. I can't lie to you.
I also think coffee.
Ooh. Yes, I can't argue with that, not at all.
Mr. Barista over here knows that I come in every single morning to Mocha to get my Blanco.
You gotta get the little boost of energy to the start of your day, you know? How about you?
It does make me feel better.
It does.
No, I know what I do is I like to spend time with my friends, and I like to get out there and do a couple things, get my mind off and get away from whatever's stressing me out, So my friends and I will go hike up to the bluffs and whatnot, and it kind of gives you perspective. It makes you feel a lot better about life.
Exactly.
Get outside before you hit those books.
Exactly. None of those 19-hour study sessions.
What's the next story you have for us, Pete?
Well, I mean, hey, first off, we're going to be getting to those national stories, but we have to take a little bit of a break first. We're going to go check out some of those WMCM shows that you love watching. We'll be right back.
Hey, can't find what you're looking for?
What?
You can find what you're looking for and more at WMCM. WMCM TV has plenty of shows you can view at your pleasure. There's Profile, where we interview people throughout the community. Or if you like sports, we have Sports Talk Live and Sports Scene. And if you're into celebrity gossip, that's why we have Afternoon Delight.
Well, that all looks great, but I'm on a computer, not a TV. I bet you guys don't have a way for me to watch this stuff on a computer.
Oh, we have that covered too. Just go to WMCMTV.com for all the updates.
Wow, that solves all my problems. Thanks, WMCM Genie.
Welcome back to WMCM's newest news show, Almost Live in LAX. We've gone through some local news, giving you some tips for stress, especially with finals week coming up. But now I'm trying to find out what's going on around the world. Amber, can you help me out?
I sure can, Pete.
I figured.
All right, so recently, Prince Rogers Nelson, better known as Prince, passed away suddenly on Thursday, April 24th, at the age of 57. Prince was a versatile American music icon who could play multiple instruments, write, sing, and could even produce. He is best known for his songs Purple Rain, Little Red Corvette, and When Doves Cry. He topped the Billboard's Hot 100 chart with 5 different songs and put 40 other songs in the top 100. Since his passing, many celebrities and other musicians have weighed in on Prince's life. When asked if Prince was a better musician than him, Dave Grohl, former Nirvana drummer and current lead man in the Foo Fighters, said, "Dude, he's a better drummer than me." Eric Clapton also weighed in and admitted that Prince was the best guitarist of all time. Prince may have passed away too soon, but his music and influence will stand the test of time. What do you guys think about that?
I think this is one of those times I feel like when celebrities die, oftentimes people kind of like, oh, I loved him so much, such an influential artist. But I think this is one of the people that really had a pretty sizable influence on the music.
I agree. I'm like putting him on par with when Robin Williams passed away.
Robin Williams and Michael Jackson even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Both big influences in the pop music sensation.
Exactly.
For sure.
Kind of kings
Industry.
at what they do. All right, I
Right.
shouldn't say kings, I should say princes at what he does.
But
I saw a stat on the internet. Again, I can't verify
kinda sad. I
the
shouldn't have done
truth of this, but I read that he could take all of his unreleased music and release one album a year for the next 100 years. That just kind of
Wow.
goes to show what kind of artist
Wow.
Prince was. He was always working, always using.
That is insane.
He was a man that was known as a symbol, an actual symbol. His name was a symbol. You can't. Who else is like that? I can't think anyone. Can you?
Yeah,
Is there
no.
a name or symbol?
Peter
There's
Pan,
not.
can you fly?
Hi, Tinkerbell's not here. Tinkerbell should be coming back in a little bit. Don't worry. You see, but Prince could. I bet Prince could fly out there on the stage. He had some talent.
Maybe.
I could.
Man, I miss him. I miss him already. Well, hey, let's go on to our next story. How about that?
Sounds good, Pete. All right, so Chariot, a new ride-sharing company, is slowly gaining nationwide attention and success. Chariot resembles Uber and has one simple cause: to provide women with equal access to safety and freedom of travel at any hour of the day, from any location to any destination. Former Uber driver Michael Pellets came up with the idea while working for Uber. He states that many Uber clients told him stories of being sexually harassed by Uber employees. A scary encounter with a passenger made Michael, a father of 2 daughters, question the safety of using Uber. The security of Uber has recently been questioned when one of its drivers allegedly killed 6 people in Michigan. Chariot responded to this stating, "We believe that giving women and their loved ones peace of mind is not only a public policy imperative, but serves as an essential social interest. Only women, transgender women, and children under the age of 13 would be allowed to use the services of Chariot. This specification has led to some legal complications. Many of these legal issues point to the discrimination of service and employment opportunity that would affect men. It's unclear if this company will be able to have a blast-off, but a lot of interest has sure been shown in the idea." So what do you guys think of an idea like that?
Again, it's one of those that there's some conflicting opinion there. How about you?
Controversy. I think that it's a good idea. I don't know if it'll get started.
I think restricting it to only women is one of those things where they do have more of a risk for those types of things, but at the same time, is men's safety not at all a risk? Like, should they completely not be allowed into Chariot? I think maybe just making an Uber, because I've ridden an Uber before. Have you guys used Ubers before?
I have not. I've always
No.
wanted to, because it's such a sensation
I
nowadays.
know. I want to try.
Isn't it like a taxi?
Yeah, I can understand how it could be a little bit of a security risk because you hop on your phone and you type in your location, you kind of just sends a car your way. And I've used it a few times. I've chatted with the people, and basically anyone can really be an Uber driver. If you don't even have a car, they'll lease you a car. So it is kind of a situation where it could be a security risk. But I mean, why are we not worrying at all for the men's risks at all? Like I'd like to see if the 6 people that were murdered by the Uber drivers were all women, because then maybe that could give it a little bit more support.
I agree with that.
Yeah, regardless, I think that there should be some type of more security features.
I would understand if Chariot chose to focus on women, but I don't think it should be designated specifically for women. Yeah, sure.
Maybe
I think that would be a better compromise.
I think they could work on it a little bit. I think it has some potential. I'm very looking forward to seeing how Chariot ends up in the future. Maybe it's going to be the new Uber pretty soon. Maybe it's going to be Chariot everywhere. You know?
I like the name a lot. Chariot, that's a really cool name.
Exactly.
Sounds very royal.
It does.
I could sit in my chariot.
Well, like knights shining armor is driving it. He's just like, well, hey, like, I might drive the Chariot actually. I might find a new Mrs. Peter Lenz, you know? That's what I'm looking for.
Oh boy, next story.
Yeah, that's probably about
on.
time. Maybe we should check out the next story.
All right, so the Drug Enforcement Agency has given approval to a group of researchers in Colorado to run trials to see if marijuana can be used to treat veterans who are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, otherwise known as PTSD. This is the first time that the DEA has authorized a study allowing the use of raw marijuana. The fight for approval took individuals from 3 states over 10 years to accomplish. The study will be moving ahead quickly as researchers hope to start enrolling veterans for the study by next month. So I think that's actually pretty cool.
I definitely think it's pretty cool. I think it's one of those things where, I mean, we should at least be looking into, can it actually give people help? You know?
Definitely.
Because I think where it's sitting right now, being a Schedule 1, we can't even really look into, can it help?
Right.
So it's just, how do you feel?
I think that it'll be cool to see how the research unfolds and go from there.
And I also very much like the fact that they're apting it towards veterans. Cause
yes,
I think that's
agree,
definitely. A area of like a demographic of our country that is very much almost to an extent abused in this country.
They're very neglected, yeah, I would agree. I just don't think people give them the attention that they deserve.
And the gratitude.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, they're serving our country.
Literally, very literally.
For a reason
Exactly.
to keep us safe.
Giving their lives, they come back, we can't even really thank them sometimes, and then we'll see them on the streets, and post-traumatic stress disorder is a debilitating thing. The star of American Sniper, the man who that story was based off of.
And it doesn't even, it not only affects soldiers who have been overseas, but it also affects family members too.
Exactly.
And friends.
So it's one of those things where, I mean, regardless of what they're using, if they find out that it can help with post-traumatic stress syndrome, why not give it to them? You know, help them out.
I think it's really cool that the DEA actually is opening, and willing to let this trial take place and actually use, like, not just, test it out on, like, animals and see what effects it might have, like, actually have people come in and see how it helps them,
Yeah.
I think that's a big step forward for our country, really.
Yeah, because, I mean, regardless of if you think it should be legal, completely legal, not bad, regardless of that, if it can help people in the slightest, it should be able to at least be medicine.
I definitely agree.
Well, that's what we think over here at Almost Live and LAX. Let's check out our last story for the night, see what that's got up for us.
All right, sounds good, Pete. So, people are talking about Cleveland lately because yesterday the city agreed to a $6 million settlement with the family of Tamir Rice. In late 2014, the 12-year-old boy was shot and killed by a Cleveland police officer who says he mistook the boy's pellet gun for the real thing. The officers were responding to a 911 call describing someone with a gun on the playground, but warning the gun might be a fake. Surveillance footage shows a patrol car stopping near Rice on the playground and the officer shooting him almost immediately after the initial approach. Last year, a grand jury decided not to indict the officer. Yesterday's settlement didn't include any admission of wrongdoing. Well, I just kind of feel bad for the people that are involved, I mean, what do you do in a situation like that?
I think here at Almost Live and LAX, we just hope that the situation gets resolved and keep them in our thoughts and in our prayers.
Yeah. And I think that it's good because with this settlement, I think that it's one step closer to being completely finished. All of the families are going to be able to put this behind them and eventually this is going to be all in the past, not even thought of.
Definitely. I just wish the best for everybody.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So guys, how's your finals week looking up? Are you getting ready, getting prepared?
Lots of papers, not a whole lot of exams.
Yeah, that's the theme.
Yeah, the same.
I'm nervous about the papers. I might need to take advantage of some of those stress relief.
Yeah, I'm going to be putting those tips to use. You'll see them up on the vlogs a lot.
We'll post this edition on YouTube so you have those stress
Perfect.
tips for you at all times. So yeah, I hope that you guys get through your finals with those papers, those exams. Well, we've got you here at Almost Live in LAX, guys. We'll be back. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you later.